It's Florida, where the water is warm and the action is hot.
Going on scene, we're not sure who's on board or if there's any more drugs.
In Miami, boat teams are fighting the war against drug smuggling. In Marathon, heavy seas threaten to sink a sailboat.
Unconscious. Roger, understand, unconscious.
And at Air Station Clearwater, the crew races to save a diver in grave condition.
I knew time was of the essence.
The Florida Peninsula, a hotbed for Mother Nature's fury. Here, every day, the brave men and women of the Coast Guard's busiest boat and air stations vigilantly patrol nearly 2 million square miles of turbulent waters, protecting the public from the dangerous elements and preventing foreign threats and illegal drugs from reaching our shores. America's southern waters are protected by Coast Guard Florida.
Hey, seniors, Grade from Station Miami. Good, how you doing? I'm MK2 Sean Grade. This morning we received some intel about the freighter Glory Sky. We received intel that the captain found some contraband on board, potentially cocaine. So I assembled some of my boarding team members to assess the situation. It's a 180-foot freighter. It's sitting 3 miles off at the Laguerre anchorage.
Everybody good? Venezuela was where he came from, right? The boat? Venezuela? My name is Omar Castro. I'm a boatswain's mate, second class. Cases like this is one of the main reasons why I joined the Coast Guard. Keeping drugs from entering the country and keeping our water safe is part of what we do every day.
My name is Tyler Chavedis. I'm a petty officer, second class. I'm part of a vessel boarding security team, VBST.
Everything will be standby when you come. Okay, that's it.
Basically, our mission is to board and search all of the freight and container vessels coming in and out of the port of Miami. It's a very essential mission for the Coast Guard, being South Florida, a very prevalent area for contraband to come through.
Sky. Yeah, that's him right there. Okay, I'm gonna whip it and then just go on the starboard side. On a case like this, usually we try to get all the information that we can. But in this case, this boat is coming from Venezuela. With everything that's going on around the world, we really don't know what this boat's all about, what their intentions are. So at all costs, we're gonna protect the boarding team.
Going on scene, we're not sure who's on board or if there's any drugs.
Station 48, we are conducting boarding Glory Sky at this time. How copy?
48 station, copy.
Right now, our boarding team has embarked Glory Sky. They're doing an initial inspection. Due to the intel that there was some contraband on board.
Once we got on board, the team conducted a full sweep of the vessel to search for more contraband. I was the one that met with the captain. Official message. We'd inspect all their passports, all their visas, the ship's documentation, just make sure everything matches up and look for any inconsistencies. This is his search list.
Okay, yeah.
And then all their signatures and then their findings. And one thing that really stood out to us was how the boat had 2 chief engineers.
There's 2 engineers on board. That's unusual for a freighter of this size, so that's suspicious to us. In this case, we're looking for contraband. So the boarding team is going to conduct an extended inspection of the vessel.
I'm ME3 Marcus Price. We had 2 people go to the bridge and the other 2 do a sweep of the deck. Petty Officer Villanueva and I went to the engine room, looking around to see if anything suspicious. We found cocaine. There was a hole cut in the ceiling tile and they were placed in there.
We detained the crew just for our safety and theirs. At that time, we really weren't sure exactly who the bad guys are and who's innocent.
638 DBST on Glory Sky.
Hey, what's up, my man? What do you got so far? Like, because I saw you searching people and stuff like that.
I found 3 keys.
Oh.
What the crew's doing now is they're getting photos of everybody, waiting for other agencies to show up. Customs and Border Protection will come and assist. Typically with operations like this that happen in South Florida, it's common for us to work with other federal law enforcement agencies such as Customs and Border Protection.
Let's go, guys.
Good, how are you?
Good. This is Sean.
All right, guys, we're gonna go out to the 45, what, on the anchorage?
Yeah, the 45 will transfer you guys to the freighter. They ended up finding a lot more cocaine, so we're transferring some customs guys out there, and they're gonna take control of the situation.
Right on. Really rock and roll. Let's do it.
At the conclusion of our search, we tested it, came back with a couple hits positive for cocaine.
Yo, two questions else you guys got going on up there.
Roger, we have everybody detained at this moment, and we are doing the naked test at this moment.
Good call. I'll be on standby. At this point, the crew has been detained for safety, and we're gonna hold them here until Customs comes out and takes over the investigation. 8 people on board, and apparently 2 suspects.
The funny part is he's a chief engineer on another boat. Other engineers could make it or something like that.
All right, we're ready to go to bring these guys into the pier.
So are you guys gonna stay on board for the transit?
Yes, sir.
Roger. And we're gonna escort this boat up the river, and then more up to a pier, and there they're gonna do a more thorough search, see if they can find any more contraband.
Looked out.
Yeah.
Got him.
Overall, the mission was very successful, not only for our unit and keeping drugs off of South Florida, but as well as working with other agencies.
The boarding teams are gonna stay on board alongside with Customs, so I'll be escorting them while they are up there maintaining positive control.
It went well.
That's good, man. It's definitely a great mission, and I'm proud to be a part of it. And I'm very fortunate to be in South Florida, where our mission is so broad, whether it's conducting just a local boarding, with recreational stuff, or the big container ships. And it's a great experience that I'll be able to take with me, the rest of my life.
We just received a call of a vessel taking on water.
You approximately have 4.5 feet of water on board at this time.
Captain! Send you down below! Captain!
It's going to be a female who's 52 years old, involved in a diving accident.
She was unconscious, so I knew time was of the essence.
Right 5, we're pushing right forward and right 10.
Thanks for the ride.
I'm 4th Class Tim Early from the Coast Guard Academy, and I'm here at Station Miami Beach for my 3rd class summer training to learn about the fleet and what all the Coast Guard has to offer.
There's a washroom right here. All the calls and pipes are made through here.
My name is Darian Duryea. I'm a 4th Class Cadet at the United States Coast Guard Academy. Today, we just reported in here at Station Miami Beach.
Captain, we have 2 cadets reporting from the academy today.
Hey, how's it going? Come on in. Tim Early. Nice to meet you.
Darian Duryea. Nice to meet you, sir.
All right, have a seat. My name is Lieutenant Commander Joe Abeda, Commanding Officer of Coast Guard Station Miami Beach. These are freshman cadets, so they've just completed their freshman year of the academy, and this will be their first exposure to operational Coast Guard. There's a couple things that I require. You gotta take care of yourselves. Okay, you gotta take care of each other, your shipmates, And then if you do those two things, and I know that you're 100% focused because your personal life and your friends and your family are all in good order. Because when you are here at this unit, I need to know, without a doubt, 100%, that you're gonna be ready to execute that mission. I gotta know that there's no distractions because your next decision could be a life-threatening decision, do or die, and I need to know that you're 100% on your game.
Meeting Lieutenant Commander Beta for the first time was a little intimidating. I mean, he is the CO of the station, one of the first officers I've seen outside the academy, so we had to set a good first impression for him.
What are you looking to get out of this next 6 weeks?
I just want to gain as much information and knowledge about what the real Coast Guard's like, because this is really the first taste of the Coast Guard.
Right, so you're at Station Miami Beach, probably one of the largest and busiest units in the Coast Guard. We have 2 ready boat crews 24/7, and we respond to search and rescue, law enforcement, and we do a lot of ports, waterways, coastal security missions. The law enforcement side of it is probably the most dynamic because we do a lot of what's called non-compliant vessel pursuit as one of our big missions. We're only 44 miles from an international border, so as a result, it's very easy to transit between 2 countries when you're only a 2-hour boat ride away. Miami Beach is also home of the largest cruise ship port in the world. About 4.5 million passengers per year pass through these ports on cruise ships, and we are responsible for providing the primary protection of those assets. So, you know, the public really counts on us to be out here and doing our job.
I'm expecting whatever comes our way. I'm really open to anything. I can't wait to see what sector in Miami and Station Miami Beach have, you know, and the kind of cases that we get.
We'll get you a sponsor, and we'll you know, have you guys hit the ground running. The cadets are gonna gain firsthand knowledge of what we do at the deck plate level. They're gonna get to see the behind-the-scenes experience of all of the work and effort that is put into not only being a member of Station Miami Beach, but the qualification process that goes into that so that they can take these experiences with them into the future. Promise you will be more than happy with your tour here, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, guys, let's go and get out of here.
Thank you.
Yep.
Fireman Judd, Fireman Rigby, where's the armor?
41 for now.
Which 33rd?
Put it on the board.
Board?
Petty Officer Hopkins, United States Coast Guard. I'm a machinery technician, 3rd class. We just received a call of a vessel taking on water. We're just getting a crew together and heading out quickly.
Station Marathon Tower 17 underway at this time. Everyone's sitting.
Roger, good copy. Still taking on water, I'll copy that over.
Station 17, roger, good copy.
All in the past, now we're going to a vessel taking on water, and it's a sailboat, so that's all I know right now.
You guys refusing to get off this boat.
I'm Blake Grella, boatswain's mate, 3rd class at Station Marathon. We got a call of a sailboat that was taking on water about 43 nautical miles north of us. The waves were about 2 to 3 feet. The further we got out, it went to about 3 to 4 foot, occasional 5s. When the seas are rough, it's a lot more complicated.
Roger, I'm an update on the vessel taking on water. We approximately have 4.5 feet of water on board at this time. Have an updated position when you're ready to copy over.
My biggest concern for a vessel taking on water like today, putting people over. If we put someone over, you're taking a chance of them falling in the water, and then you got another problem on your hands.
Hit the siren. Captain! Are you down below? Captain!
4.5 feet of water on board at this time.
We got a call of a sailboat that was taking on water.
Captain! She's down below! Captain! Hey, how much water you got on board? Where's the water coming from?
Once I get on scene, I assess the situation, find out which side's best for me to drop my crew members off at.
Yeah. I want you to go over and find out where the water's coming from. Judd and Bowman, get the P6 pump ready. All right.
When it's rough, I mean, you're bobbing up and down. To maneuver the boat up against it is tricky. You just gotta take patience, don't get overwhelmed, and just take it one step at a time.
Go.
When I stepped on board the sailboat, I noticed a lot of water in the cabin. The first thing I think about mainly is a generator. The generator conducts the most electricity, and that can do the most harm to you. But I saw him in the water, and he was just doing just fine, so I figured, you know, maybe I could be okay too. He had a few mattresses that were floating on top. There's boards everywhere. But for that amount of water to coming in, he must have went through some trauma.
Sir, you mind coming on board and having our guys assess the situation? Sir, put a life jacket on if you're not going to come aboard my vessel.
To kind of coerce him off the boat, it wasn't working that well. He really wanted to be there. It's his home. If it became a lot worse, we'd have to get him off. But we found that he was actually a help to us, so we left him on board with us.
Me and Petty Officer Hopkins took the P60 watering pump over and immediately got it all set up, got the pump running rather quickly.
It's pumping. Hey, check where that water's coming from, find out if we need anything from our DC kit to stuff it. And if he gets put in tow and there's strain on whatever's stuffed in there, is it gonna stop the water?
The captain doesn't want to leave his vessel, it's his home. So what we're gonna do is try to plug the hole and stop the water from coming in until we can put the vessel into tow.
Captain, if we can control your flooding, detail will bring you to Fort Myers at an extra charge. Are you willing to do that? Okay.
The captain didn't want to go back to Marathon, so I called Sector and arranged for them to contact Seatow, have them come out and tow him where he wanted to go. Seatow is just a commercial salvage company. They tow boats all throughout the United States.
What's up with the whole situation? Hey, the water's coming in. And it's clear blood? Yeah.
Once we got all the water out, we stood on scene until Seatow came out and took him into tow.
There you go.
Definitely, if we couldn't get out there in time, the boat could have sank, and he'd just be drifting out there by himself. His dinghy that he had with him was also almost about to sink underwater, so all he had was a few life jackets, and especially if he lost radio comms, there was no way he could really get a hold of anybody, so it could have really turned into something bad.
Looks good.
Cal 17 station, you are clear to RTB at this time, over.
Just close up shop and go home.
It's definitely a good feeling, helping people out and, you know, potentially saving lives. You know, the guy on board, he had made a comment, you know, that's all he has, that's his home and where he lives at. And it felt good to save that for him.
It's another day in paradise.
When I come back from a mission, I feel relieved if it got done properly. There's no more, 10 million scenarios going off in your head. You just feel great sometimes.
Yeah, they just got a thing on the radio that said Coast Guard needing assistance. I think it's possible drowning victim.
I'm Lieutenant Commander David Marema. We got a call today that there was a diving accident off of a 26-foot charter vessel. It's about an 88-mile transit from here, which put us about 30 miles offshore from Fort Myers. Skies were clear, winds were about 10 knots. basically, you got the information that we got. You have any questions? All right, climb and go. Cool.
This is check. Touch reservoir panels checked. Are you guys bringing oxygen along with you?
That is affirmative. We have extra O2 on the plane.
I am AST3 Mark Fulgham, and I'm a rescue swimmer here at Air Station Clearwater. We got our gear and got ready to go. That's what we were trained to do. Get in there, get the job done, and get out.
Sector 415, roger. Be advised that we are airborne at this time. We are en route.
015 Clearwater Air have updated information regarding the case. It's going to be a female who's 52 years old involved in a diving accident. She apparently has a collapsed lung. She's got labored breathing.
Air from 15, roger. Good copy on that. She's got a punctured lung. She's going to be in a lot of pain.
Yeah, that's true.
She popped her lung, and she was unconscious, so I knew time was of the essence.
She's got a punctured lung. She's going to be in a lot of pain.
Yeah, that's true.
We got a call that there was a diving accident. It was a 52-year-old female that had a collapsed lung.
Vessel Pegasus, Coast Guard rescue helicopter on 15.
Coast Guard, this is Charter Vessel, over.
Roger, Skipper. We are about 5 minutes out. Want to know if the patient is ambulatory?
The patient currently is unconscious.
Roger, understand unconscious. What we'd like to do is send down our rescue swimmer to your vessel, and he will take it from there.
Roger, copy that, Coast Guard.
The folks that were on the vessel were very helpful. We gave them a good hoist briefing, told them our intentions, and they were very cooperative, very understanding.
Vessel Pegasus, we're going to make an approach down to you. I believe we have you in sight.
Roger, Coast Guard, standing by, over.
Arrived on scene. There was a small white center console, 26-foot vessel, so it was a small vessel.
Looks like is that a Coast Guard boat coming?
Yeah. Skies were clear. The winds were about 10 knots. Swells were about 4 feet, which even on a small vessel like that could be a little bit challenging.
Ready for approach?
Coming about 1 o'clock, John, if you want to take a look.
Yeah, I got it. That might be a little tight for the litter, but we'll have to do it. I mean, she's unconscious, dude.
Yep.
We got on scene and observed that the area we were going to hoist to was quite small.
It looks like there's a little walkway up on the bow that it might fit. Okay, I don't know if it's gonna fit.
Mark, you much rather go in the water and swim over to the boat? Because it's going to be a tough hoisting area with her loading across the back. I don't know if we're going to be able to get you right in the well deck there. Oh, yeah, that's fine for me.
We came to a good conclusion that the platform was too small to hoist to, so we thought it would be a good idea to put me down in the water.
Vessel Pegasus. We're going to put the swimmer in the water. Once he's in the water, if you could just drive over and pick him up. No copy.
Copy that, Roger, Coast Guard, standing by.
All right, John, whenever he's ready.
Roger, we're ready back here.
Coming down to 35 feet.
All right, your show, brother. Swimmer's ready?
All right, target is at 2 o'clock in hoist.
Roger, has target sight. Swimmer's going down. Swimmer's halfway down. Swimmer's going down. Swimmer's 5 feet off the water. Swimmer's in the water. Swimmer is away. Swimmer is okay.
Coast Guard, this is Charter Vessel, okay to approach?
Roger, affirmative. Just keep your eye on the swimmer.
Roger that, over.
He's at the vessel.
Roger.
I swam over to the boat just to get an assessment of the patient.
Swimmer from 15, go ahead.
She is unconscious. Just going to go with the litter.
Roger, stand by.
The victim was unconscious, so they ended up doing a litter hoist to the water, which is a little more challenging.
All right, it's going to be a litter deployment to the water to the swimmer from 35 feet. John, you can see the hoist.
Roger, have target sight. Litter's going out the door. Litter's going down. Litter's in the water. Swimmer is absent litter. Litter disconnected. Hoist hook's coming up.
Then I got the litter from the helicopter, swam it over to the boat.
Hopefully she's still breathing.
Yeah.
I don't really see the guy doing CPR, but...
It looks like they're going to get her all packaged up, put her in the water, and then we're going to do it from the water.
Roger, ready for 1. Air hook recovery of the litter and survivor.
Roger.
You guys are doing a great job, man. A little dynamic situation here. Swimmer's in the water.
Roger, I got him in sight.
Swimmer and survivor are heading away from the boat.
Roger. Stable at 35 feet, target's at 2 o'clock.
Roger, has target in sight, voice stuff's going down.
Swam with the litter. This is actually my first live operational litter hoist.
Right 15.
When I was towing her into the rotor wash actually makes it a little more difficult just because it pushes it around.
Right 10. Right 5, we're pushing right forward and right 10. Hold. Easy left.
Connected both of the lifting V-rings to the hoist hook and then lifted from there.
Looks actually 3 then, so easy forward. Here, take the load. Hold. Here, take the load. Taking the load. Both survivors clear the water. Survivors in the water, clear back and left. Survivors halfway up. Survivors going up. Survivors 5 feet below the cabin. I'm bringing her in head first.
Roger.
Survivors in the cabin. Hoist complete.
Roger.
She is unconscious, but she is breathing.
Okay. All right, bear hook will cover this worm, 35 feet. In the hoist.
Roger, have target sight. Swimmer is clear of the water.
They sent the hook back down for me, picked me up from there, and got me back into the cabin.
Swimmer's in the cabin. Hoist complete.
Roger.
Sector safety 6015 off normal. We are en route to Lee Memorial with patient on board.
15 sector, roger, to copy and all.
Once the swimmer and survivor were hoisted, we weren't quite sure how stable she really was.
Poor girl.
I started taking her vitals. My EMT skills started kicking in, and when I started giving her oxygen, she started coming back to life.
How's she doing?
She's doing good. She's doing good.
Cool.
So I just kept grabbing her hand, making sure that she knew she was okay, and we're gonna get her to the hospital as fast as possible.
Yeah, I think her body's just like, from all the shock and the pain, the body just does its own little thing and kind of shuts down. And she's got a strong pulse, so.
It was good. Her life is in your hands, so you want to make sure that you take care of her the best that you can.
We're about 2 minutes out from landing Lee Memorial.
Power in sight there at 11.
I'm currently about 200 feet coming up over the pad. Easy down. Tail clear. Tail's clear. Coming down. All right, we're at flat pitch. Brake set.
Carried her into the hospital. From there, I gave the pass down to the doctor. The patient was looking a lot better. Went back to the helicopter, and we RTB'd at that time.
And we are departing to the north.
Nice job, guys. That was a more challenging one. Is that a life saved or a life assisted? Life saved.
Yeah, that's a life saved.
We had an opportunity to save a life today, and of course, saving a life is always a great thing.
Not a bad way to start the day, guys.
No, not at all. Well, you know, I was reading that email this morning about if anybody wanted to take dive lessons. I'm like, I don't know.
You know, we don't want people to be in trouble, but you know, when things do happen, it gets to solidify our job, and it makes us feel good about what we do.
High fives all around.
I'm Mitch Peppers. I live in Port Charlotte, Florida. For recreation, we like to go to the beach and go diving, and there's a shipwreck out there that we were going to go dive on. Got down in the water, went down to the bottom, and I started having an issue. I just couldn't get comfortable. I got up to the top, grabbed the ladder, and that's all I remember.
She was unconscious. Then the helicopter came, and you're like, wow, thank God. See the big red copter and Coast Guard on the side, you're like, yeah, okay, we're gonna be good.
Drivers in the cabin. Hoist complete.
Roger.
I remember being on the helicopter. It was a big sense of relief. It's like, you know, thank goodness for the Coast Guard. I might not be here if it wasn't for them.
Miami, take command for 135. They're running now, their current course.
Fort Lauderdale intercepted a boat, had contraband on board. They pulled the plug. I got him, off the bow. It's taking on water again. Let me get that pump. Pump it up. Come up, come up, come up. We're gonna launch it.
Cadet Jerry, you're about to receive a full facial exposure
OC pepper spray. Do you have any questions? No BMT. Roger that. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and hold.
Doing a training exercise for exposure to oleoresin capsicum spray, which is basically also known as pepper spray. And we require all of our boarding team members and our boarding officers to be exposed to it so they know how to react should they encounter an exposure during an actual event while they're out doing their missions.
Open your eyes. I don't see. I don't see. Set. Get him away from the table. What happened? I don't see. Set. What happened? I don't see. Don't charge him. Don't charge him. Just defend back. Defend yourself.
So we spray the trainee to ensure that, A, they know what it feels like. They can defend themselves, they can protect their weapon, and ultimately get to a point where they can now still exercise the appropriate level of force to ensure that the subject that sprayed them can be taken down.
Get down on the ground! Down on the ground! Let's shoot him!
I've just been OC pepper sprayed. It's probably one of the worst experiences I've ever been through in my life, the most painful. I think it forms a special kind of bond between you and the crew because you've all been through that same experience. You all know what it feels like, and you have a lot more respect for them than respect for each other.
Open your eyes. What happened?
Back of NOC! Get down! Get back of NOC!
Your defense, fight him up! Fight him up!
During it, yeah, it sucks, but you don't really notice the pain. You just try to get through it.
Back of NOC! Get down! Get down!
Get down or what?
I'm shooting you!
Get down or you will be shot.
You will be shot!
Let's just not be your weapon.
And then right after it was, oh man, what did I get myself into? And so, yeah, we dunked our head in ice water to start flushing it out. But basically, you're just gonna have to sit through it for a little bit, let the pain go. There's not much you can do about it.
Why are they videotaping this again?
All right, here's what we got. Fort Lauderdale intercepted a boat, had contraband on board. They pulled the plug, okay? But the contraband, they tried to throw the bail overboard. We were able to recover the bail. Right now, a cutter took the contraband and the subjects. Our boat has the boat in tow. My name is Omar Castro, and I am the coxswain on the 45-foot boat. One of our air assets reported a TOI coming from the Bahamas. And our primary non-compliant boat went out to engage him.
Sector Miami, Sector Miami, 135. They're running now their current course.
135 sector request an updated position.
Sector Miami, 135. We're going to pursue this vessel. 2 POV, 1 outboard. Heading west.
What's up, buddy? They needed my help to go out and dewater the boat because as soon as they engaged a non-compliant vessel, they tried to scuttle the boat. Scuttling the boat is basically when a smuggler is trying to destroy all the evidence. They will either break a hole on the boat or take the plugs out so that way the boat will sink and there's no longer evidence. The evidence will sink with the boat. We suspect that there's a lot more drugs on board, so Henry has it on tow. He's trying to keep it on plane, that way it doesn't sink, okay? We're gonna go up there, put the pump on board the boat, pump the water out, because apparently there's a lot of water coming in. We're gonna bring the boat over here. I'm gonna have Ski and a crew ready on the travel lift to get the boat out of the water, okay? Because we're gonna try to see if there's more drugs on board before, if we can get this boat salvaged, okay? You got forward lookout? I got starboard and aft. Thank you. And you guys, just keep a sharp lookout out, okay? I have 2 cadets on board. It was their second day. The prior day they reported, and then that day they wanted to go out with me and see, what we do on the boats and whatnot. All right, coming up. Coming up. Here we go. I got him. Off the bow. God. I see him.
As we were pulling up, we noticed that they already had the boat in tow, which was barely above the surface of the water. We saw the blue lights from the FWC boats and the other 45 that was already on scene. We were basically preparing ourselves to keep this boat alive so we could get it back to the base.
The FWC, they sped over, and Petty Officer Morin was bent over.
Watch out, Morin.
One of the FWC guys was holding onto him by his belt.
Grab him, help him with the light. There you go, right there.
340, roger. Into it.
He got over and picked up the bale of narcotics.
That's awesome.
So then I realized that there's got to be more narcotics on that boat.
We need to put that, this side has no water. The other side is what has water.
Okay, so you stick me if you can switch sides with Roby real quick,
yeah.
You stick me 3 feet away from it, I'm gonna jam that suction hose in there.
That's what I'm saying. Perfect, perfect. Go ahead and get the P6 pump ready.
If they can just meet up with the FWC boat that's alongside.
My name is Jeremy Neese. I'm at Station Miami Beach. I'm an E3 and I'm a fireman. A P6 pump is basically just a dewatering pump that we use on vessels that are taking on water.
One pump, green rock.
See if you can put the searchlight on the boat.
0 minutes, the full crew set.
You ready? All right.
Pretty much you just put it where the vessel mostly is taking on water and prime it.
That's fine, that's fine. Just stay with it right there. Good, we coming? There you go, there you go.
And once you start it, you gotta prime it some more and then it'll eventually take out all the water out of the boat at a very rapid speed.
Pump's on!
That P6 pump is great because, you know, after priming it and all that, you know, once it gets your prime, within seconds, it took all the water out. Now, the hardest part was for me to maintain station next to the boat while it was being on tow, while one of the crew members was holding the hose and he was spotted by another crew member, you know, so it was a very complex evolution. It's taking on water again. Let me get that pump. Hook that up. Okay. Strauss, grab that black line out forward. Head in the end.
You want me to grab that bail or no?
Pump it out first, pump it out first, pump it out. Pump it out. Pump it out.
Jeremy, come on the pump.
Let me get a pump.
Start it up, start it up.
Start it up. Come up, come up, come up.
We're gonna lose it.
Once the coxswain came closer with the boat towards the travel lift where we moor the boat up, the vessel started sinking.
Let me get a pump.
Start it up, start it up.
Start it up. Come up, come up, come up.
We're gonna lose it.
So they shortened the tow and the coxswain came up, accelerated pretty quickly and tried to pull the boat back up.
Okay, it's back up, Henry. You got it, bro. You got it. Every time water would get into the boat, contraband kept coming out. That's evidence for us. So we would try to grab the contraband and safely put it in our boat and kept it watering it. It was a long transition, so it was very intense. Tell them maintain course and speed. We're gonna pick up a bail. Once we came in through Government Cut, we determined that it was a lot safer if we hooked up another tow line to it, put it on a heavy line, and pass it to the pier. That way they kept positive control. If at any point the boat sank, they can still have some line attached to it from land and not from the boat.
Hey, ready?
I threw 2 heaving lines and they took it from there. We released the boat, they pulled it in. MK3 Zankowski ran the travel lift and got that boat up on land.
Go ahead and shut it down. All right, good job, everybody. A lot of teamwork there.
Right now, we're trying to find out what else was inside. We were able to find some hash and some more marijuana.
You guys can tie up right here. The Fort Lauderdale boat that actually made the stop and apprehended the suspects and got the initial contraband off the vessel. They're getting ready to tie up to the dock here, and we're going to offload the suspects.
Everything in these cups all day, buddy.
I'm not your buddy.
So these are our 2 newest cadets. They're freshmen at the Coast Guard Academy. And they got here, what, last night, right? You guys got here?
24 hours ago.
Okay, so in less than 24 hours, they've been involved in a major narcotic seizure. The rest of 2 suspects. And you guys aren't even full-blown officers yet. You're still in training, right?
Yes, sir.
These are the future leadership of the Coast Guard. Welcome aboard. Nothing like throwing your feet in the fire, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, good deal.
We just cut the boat open, and it was a pretty good bust. Now we're wrapping up things. We got the detainees, and ICE is going to take over, and they're going to go ahead and prosecute them.
Trophy shots.
Having a case like this brings morale. It refreshes the crew as to, hey, we did something successful. We did it together as teamwork. So it gives us more motivation to go out and look for it and look for these cases and look for the drug smugglers and the people boating under influence and things like that, and successfully, keeping the water safe out here.
I'm Rear Admiral Bill Baumgartner in Florida, and the Coast Guard is responsible for about 1.8 million square miles of water area. Search and rescue, pollution response, commercial shipping. There are people smuggling narcotics, sometimes smuggling terrorists. And here in Florida, this is the most intense place for so many of those missions. If you're going to go out there and combat the threats that we combat every day, you've got to have people that are working for something for more than a paycheck. In the Coast Guard, we've got the best people, from the young people that we're getting in, all the way up to captains that run the big air stations. The missions are so challenging that we can't afford to have somebody that's not the best at what they do. We try to do our best to protect the American public while we're on watch. And then we train and turn it over to the next generation. That's where values come in play. Honor, respect, devotion to duty has made us successful for 222 years, and it'll carry us through the next 222 years.